Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Margarita here. Welcome back to part 2 of the Beyblade Burst Rise Extreme Challenger Battle Set review. So last we left off, we finished looking at the layer of Monster Diabolos. So now let's take a look at his parts, shall we? Starting with the disc, which oddly enough is vertical. Now, we haven't seen vertical in some time. We haven't seen vertical since 2016. That's like season 1. They're bringing in this old disc. Regardless, it's really nice to see the return of vertical, so that's quite nice. And I guess it kind of meshes well with the sort of crazy look of the layer, so I guess it kind of works. But other than that, nothing really much else to say about vertical, except it's a surprise to see it again after so many years. And lastly, we get the driver, which is Octa, or as they call it in the app, Octave Hypersphere. And from what I've heard from word of mouth, this is one of the most aggressive Hypersphere tips you can get. And not gonna lie, I'm surprised at how well this actually works from what I've seen from video footage. This actually works quite well. And unlike the original Octa, which I sadly forgot to bring it over into my recording area to actually compare it with for you guys, basically it's just the same thing except it doesn't have the little tip on it. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. Oh, and it has the metal stripped. So other than that, it's a nice red. So when we put the parts all together, there we have the full combo of Monster Diabolos. And he is, of course, as the box describes, an attack type. So, really good attack type. Interesting that they put Octa on this, but I can see why. Because, again, video footage has shown Octa is a lot more aggressive in Hypersphere than he is on the standard release. So, good on you, Hasbro. Anyway, so let's move on to the next Beyblade in the set, which, as you guys remember from last time, we are going to be going from the top right to top left to the lower right. And the next Beyblade on the box list is Union Valkyrie, which let's take a look at the parts for it, starting off with the chip, which is, of course, Valkyrie. And it does look quite nice. I do like this recolor. Now, for a comparison, I am going to bring in the original chip here, or at least the original bay with the chip there, so you can see how different the two chips look. So there you go. And we will be bringing in Slash Valkyrie again for another kind of look with the next Beyblade after this one, but before we get to that, we have the layer base to look at and the other parts for this one. So this is the Union base. We already seen this before with Union Achilles multiple times, but just to briefly go over what it does, basically you can take out the blades and you can change the modes on it by simply just doing that and then just adding the chip in, and then you can change the modes on this, which again are quite nice on this one. I do like the sort of orange, silver, and the yellow and the green, or sand green, along with this sort of dark, clear green. It looks really nice, and in the light, it meshes really well together. So, I do quite like that. So there's that. Now, briefly, for comparison, we are going to bring in Union Achilles' Union base here, with the rest of the bay pretty much. For comparisons, you can see how those look. They don't look too bad. And also for comparison, we are going to put them both in their speed mode because, of course, we have to see what both of them look like in speed mode. So let me quickly do that. And there we go. There we have both of them in their speed modes. And both of them look absolutely fantastic together. So once I get all these back into their default modes, and once I get these all back together, oh shoot, gotta take the chip out of this one. Okay, there we go. Put you in there, and then that, and then, oh wait, dang it. Okay, there we go. So now I got the layer back together, as you guys can see. Now let's take a look at the parts here, the remaining parts. Starting off next with the disc, which is Armed. And we haven't seen Armed in a while. This first came out in 2015's Neptune/Nepstrius. So pretty interesting that we're getting, again, these really old parts. So nothing really else to say about it except, again, I'm shocked it's back here after so many years. Then lastly, we have the driver, which is Destroy/Destroyer Hypersphere. And of course, we saw this the same driver with Myth Odax/Knockout Odin. So basically, it's the same thing except just sand green instead of sort of a kind of a light blue. So putting all the parts together, we get Union Valkyrie. And again, it looks really, really nice. Unlike Takara, where sometimes their random booster bays are kind of a mishmash of colors that don't really make sense, Hasbro actually has some really nice, taste in colors for their recolor parts. So really nice to see this bay. So that was Union Valkyrie. Next up on the list, we have another attack type, I believe. Yep, another attack type. Now, Union Valkyrie is, I should have mentioned before, is balance type. So let me bring out him. This is going to be, let me show you guys real quick. There we go. This is Sword Achilles, or / Achilles, so really nice to see. But before we get any deeper into it, we got to take it apart and take a look at the parts here, starting off with the chip, which of course is Achilles, and it is quite nice. I do like the blue, yellow, and silver on this guy. Kind of reminds me of, kind of reminds me of Sunny D. I don't know why, but it reminds me of that old drink, Sunny D. Let me know in the comments if you guys remember Sunny D. That was a fantastic drink back in the day. Nowadays, it's kind of eh. But anyway, for comparison, let's bring in the original Achilles chips, so that way you guys can see how different they are. So quite nice. So that is the Achilles chip. Next, we have the / or sword layer base. And this is quite nice. I really like this really nice sort of golden sand yellow. And then we have this really nice powder blue to mix in. Now, of course, it probably in the camera, it probably looks like an eyesore. But in person, let me tell you, it doesn't look nearly as loud and just, in your face as you think it does. So for comparison, we're going to quickly bring in the original / Valkyrie, so you guys can see how the original / base looked there. Alright, so then putting on the chip, there we have / Achilles. And again, looks really nice for an attack type. Not too bad. Next off, for the parts, we have the disc, of course, which is Boost. Now, again, we haven't seen Boost since 2016's Victory Valkyrie, so it's really nice to see this come back. And I guess it kind of makes sense with the base, being taken from Valkyrie, and then Boost now also being taken from another Valkyrie, so I guess that kind of works. But then the driver completely throws this off for me. So we got this for the driver, and this is Dimension / Dimensional Hypersphere. Now again, we saw this originally on, what do we see this on? We saw this on Lord Spryzen / Lord Spriggan's. Same thing, except just blue, and does look quite nice. So, combining the parts for this together, we get this. This is the combo of / Achilles. Again, I really like this recolor. Now, honestly, at first, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I hated this recolor. I thought it was absolutely hideous. But now that I have it in person, it's not too terribly bad. Sure, if you stare at it too long, it's a bit of an eyesore, but, for what it is, it's not a bad recolor. So, I do quite like that. So that was / Achilles there. Next off, we have our first and only stamina type. That being Grand Pegasus. So finally, for me anyway, I finally have a version of Pegasus for the Hasbro release of the Beyblade. So let's take a look at the parts for it. Starting off with the chip, which is Pegasus. And Pegasus does look quite nice. Now, just like the original Pegasus on Heaven Pegasus, or Harmony Pegasus as it was called in Hasbro, it's basically the same thing. Except now it has this nice silver, gold, and this really nicely painted sort of main golden locks we got there, which is really nice. We also have the chip there, which references the 10 layer weight for the Japanese release. But of course, it's just now purely just there for aesthetic, really. So, quite a nice chip. Now I don't have the other Heaven Pegasus to compare this with. Sorry for my stuttering, but yeah, I think you guys can kind of get the idea of the differences there. I don't think I really need to compare this now, do I? Now for the layer base, I actually do have a base to compare this to, and that is the Grand or Glyph base. Now I do quite like this. I do like the sort of yellow and pearly white to it. Again, it's pretty much the exact same as the original release, which was Grand Dragon. So you guys can see there the differences in the colors there. So kind of an interesting segue to comparison time, but there we go. So now putting the chip in, there we have Grand Pegasus. And again, looks really, really cool. I do like this sort of pearl and the gold. And this chip would actually go really nice on the Royal base of Royal Genesis or Regalia Genesis. So there you go. Next off, we have the other parts for this, which of course is the disc. And the disc we get is oval. Now again, oval, we got this originally in 2015 with Death Scyther, Oval XL, but yeah, I'm not too thrilled about this disc because nowadays this is kind of outclassed and it's the off-balanceness. I don't think this really makes sense for a stamina type to be kind of off-balance. It makes it a little more of an attack type, but I guess it kind of fits with the rounded shape of the layer base, so I guess I could see where Hasbro was coming from when they included this disc, but I don't know. I'm not too thrilled about this one, guys. But lastly, we have the driver, and the driver is, surprisingly, Yard, also known as Yardage, Hypersphere. And it's in this really interesting, like, mac and cheese orange. Really interesting color there for it. I guess it kind of meshes well with the sort of yellowish orangish, which if you do look at it for a long enough, like I am right now, off camera, it does start to look more like the color of the driver, but it's interesting. And what's also interesting about this is that they changed the little insignia on the top. Normally on the original Yard, there was like a little like trident here to represent Emperor Fornius. But now it's represented by a Y, which I believe is the same Y Yielding uses. So, interesting design choice there. But anyways, putting the parts together here, we get... the slopes on this one are really tight. Ooh, there we go. There we have Grand Pegasus. And again, it looks really, really nice. And again, the slopes on this one, I should mention, for most of these bays, are really nice and tight. So I don't expect these bays to burst anytime soon. But also there is the chance that they could just get really weak and then they burst on the drop of a hat. But hopefully they won't do that. Next off, we have another attack type, which is Zwei or Zone Fafnir. And personally, guys, out of all the bays in this set, this is my second favorite because I just love the way this looks. I love how they took both of the left spin dragon bays and then just fused them into one bay. It's beautiful. Anyway, let's take a look at the parts that this bay comes with. So, starting off with, we get the Fafnir chip. Now, this Fafnir chip originally came on Wizard Fafnir, but now it is here and in this really nice blue and silver. I do not have the original Hasbro Wizard Fafnir or the Japanese version to compare this to, but overall, it's a pretty nice chip, and I do quite like it. It does look like Fafnir, so good job, Hasbro. Next off, we have the layer base, which is Zwei, or Zone. Now, of course, Zwei we originally saw on Zwei Longinus, or Zone Luminar, and overall, it's not too terribly bad of a recolor. I really like this blue, yellow, and the silver bits, where originally there was metal, which, of course, for Hasbro has been completely stripped. Now, again, for comparison, I do have the original Zwei, or Zone Luminar right here. In this case, it's the Japanese, so it's Zwei Longinus. So you can see the differences between the two layer bases. So you can see this is metal, There is no metal here. There's more detail on the sticker here. Not really much there. And yeah, there you go. So moving him out of frame, we can now put the chip in, which the chip does fit in nice and tight on this one. We have Zwei Luinor, the full layer, which again, very nice color combination. Love the blue on this. Next off, we get the disc, which is, again, another throwback piece. This is Gravity. Now, Gravity originally came on Rising Ragnarok, or Raging Rockdivore, Gravity Revolve. And, yeah, it's not too bad of a disc. Obviously outclassed and competitive, but, of course, nah. That's kind of a given, considering, again, that bay came out in 2016, so yeah, this piece is pretty old, as I said. And as I said with the other ones, I'm surprised that one came back. The last part we have for this bay is Revolve / Revolver Hypersphere. Yeah, voice crack. Anyway, so, really nice look to this. Of course, obviously, it's heavily modified. The free spinning plate has now been fused together, and the tip is now very much short and stubby. Almost looks like a farmer's hat if you look at it in the right way. Either that, or if you turn it around, it kind of looks like a UFO with its beam about to abduct some cows or something. I don't know, or you know, or try to get some humans in its little tractor beam or whatever. Anyway, so we do have the top of it here, which of course has the R for Revolve, or as they call it in Hypersphere, Revolver. I don't know why they call it that, but there we go. So putting the pieces together, which again the slopes on this one are real nice and tight. There we have the full combo of Zwei, Fafnir, and again, really nice combo. Now, again, for an attack type, I don't understand why they put a stamina driver on here, but I guess it works. So, there you go. There he is. So let me get him off screen here. And let's bring in the 6th and final bay of the set, which is Erase Bahamut. And again, he looks absolutely fantastic. So let's take him apart and let's take a look at his parts. Starting off with the chip, which looks amazing, in my personal opinion. This is the recolored version of the Bahamut chip. And again, it looks so nice in this red and yellow. Looks very fiery. I do like it. Now again, for comparison, we do have the original chip here. So that way you guys can see the differences between the two. So obviously this is the original and this is the recolored version. And personally, out of the two, I like this one better, a lot better, because of that red. That red just makes it look more dragon-like, like it's a furious dragon about to spew fire all over you. Looks fantastic, so I really like that. And next we have the layer base, which again looks really good here. This is the Erase base. Now again, we originally saw this with Erase Diabolos, and overall, I think if I put the Diabolos chip on, or at least one of them, I think this base can actually work really well for this. So for a quick comparison, I'm going to bring in the original Erase Diabolos there, so you can see the differences between the layer bases. And just for fun here, I'm going to take off the original Diabolos chip, and I'm going to try putting it on this Erase base to see how it looks. Okay, not gonna lie, that's actually pretty cool. I quite like that. So, that's pretty neat. But anyways, with that being said, that is the Erase base overall. Really nice part to get. And once you put the layer and the chip together, or layer base and chip together, I should say, there we go. There is your layer right there of Erase Bahamut. Not too bad. Next off, we get the parts for this, which again are very confusing, especially considering this is supposed to be a balance type. So we get the disc here, which is down. Now again, down we originally got on, what was it? Oh god, Unlock Unicorn, that was it. Unlock Unicorn Down Needle, which again came out in 2016. And yeah, very interesting, again, to get such an old part here. I know I've said that like 6 times already, but yeah, I just want you guys to fully understand just how baffled I am with just how many old parts you get in this. I mean, you practically get like 1, 2, 3, 4. You get all 6 of them. I just noticed have original legacy sort of older parts on it, on them. Very weird. Lastly, we have the driver, which is Rise or Riser Hypersphere. And yeah, this looks nothing like Rise. Looks nothing like it, because the original Rise was like I believe it was like a cone tip, and then it had like a little bowl-shaped free spinning part on it. It originally came out Wizard Fafnir, but regardless, this looks nothing like it. However, you know, I can kind of see where they were coming from here with this. So we put that on there, and then we put that on here. And then there we go. There we have Erase Bahamut. Not too bad. So let's bring in all the bays here, so that way we can all get a nice shot of all the bays together. And there we go, guys. There is your 6 bays that come with this. That come with the set. So with that being said, guys, and if Diabolos like to cooperate there we have the Beyblade Burst Rise Extreme Challenger battle set. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and turn notifications on, and I will see you guys in the next video. Later, Read Squad, and have a good one.